Hey, hey, hey. I guess I'm live. So I am streaming from one device on three platforms. Yeah, it is it's happening. It is happening right now. And I apologize I wasn't able to put up the title of what this is about. I'll figure that out along the way. Let's see if I could add that. No, can't do that there. I'm just gonna start talking. Never miss a comment. Show. Okay. Click on the message title screen below. Okay, so I can, let's see. Hold on. I'm going to view and see, let me get off of that. See where I am. Is it happening right now? Yes, as I'm live. Okay, so I'm live on Facebook. Let me go check on TikTok. Because the crazy thing is, I don't see the comment, so I don't see that. Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk because I'm here. Okay, so I was listening to a message on yesterday that really resonated with myself, and I know it can be helpful for other people. So I want to share this information with you all this morning. And the title of this video, the purpose of this video, this live, is called Beyond the Wound, Healing the Hurt and the Response. Because a lot of times when we experience something, there's residue, right? And here's how you know there's residue. You're easily triggered. You're triggered. And when you're easily triggered, whenever the trigger appears, it's because there is residue. Because we can look at the primary healing. The primary healing is the initial wound. Okay, that's the act that caused the pain. What we do not or may not understand is that there is a secondary healing, right? And that's the healing from our response to the wound and how it shaped our identity, trust, and decisions. Okay, and so there's the biblical illustration, and that's the woman with the issue of blood. She spent 12 years trying everything, yet healing only came when she touched Jesus. Okay, many of us are still bleeding because we're seeking healing in things that can't truly restore us. Okay, so many of us are still bleeding because we're seeking healing from things that can't truly restore us. The difference between a quick fix and true healing. Quick fixes are like patches on a leaking tire, temporary solutions that don't address the issue or the root causes. So just think about, say you got a leak in your tire, and you go and they say, hey, you got a hole in your tire. You're like, well, how much is a new tire? They're like $300. You're like, wait a minute. Okay, so can we just patch it, right? And so instead of fixing it, we patch it, right? And sometimes that's what we do when it comes to healing. We don't really fix it, we just patch it. And when you put that patch on, eventually there will be a slow leak. Okay. So many of us, like I said, many of us are still bleeding because we're seeking healing in things that can't truly restore us. The difference between a quick fix and true healing: quick fixes are like patches on a leaking tire, temporary solutions that don't address the root issue. And true healing requires replacing the damaged parts of our thinking and identity and trust. So signs that that more healing is needed. So here are some signs that more healing is needed. And here's the thing: we all require and will need healing because we're not healed completely, right? So here's some signs that more healing is needed. Excuse me. You're triggered, right? You're easily triggered, and a trigger is unresolved pain that resurfaces in new situations. So when someone is triggered, it's not about what you're experiencing in that moment. It's about what you have experienced. That's all a trigger is. And another sign is that you're trapped. You keep repeating the same patterns. Okay. And the third sign is you're trained. Okay. You adopted a survival mechanism that keep you stuck. So those are signs of healing. The first one is you're triggered. And a lot of times we tend to try to avoid our triggers. And when you're avoiding them is not healing them. We have to face, embrace, and release it, right? So we got to be able to face it. We want to be able to go back to that time when that thing first happened. And a lot of times we can't do this by ourselves. That's why it's important to make sure you are connected with somebody that can help you, wise counsel, somebody that can help you, somebody that has experience in that area. Because a lot of times we're going to other people and they're triggering the trigger, right? So you got to be mindful when you're triggered. Who are you turning to? Where are you turning to? Okay. And then you're trapped. You keep repeating the same patterns. And here's the thing. If the pattern doesn't change, nothing else will change. It all starts with our patterns. Our patterns get us to where our patterns are the reason why where we are. Or your pattern is the reason why maybe you gain weight. Is the reason why maybe you maybe your finances, right? So if you look at the pattern, it's the reason for the thing. So in order to change the outcome, we have to change the patterns. Okay. How to get fully healed, how to fully heal. You want to use your triggers as beacons. Okay. Instead of avoiding them, let them show you where healing is needed. Okay. Instead of running from the triggers, look at where they're showing you their healing is needed. Because that's all the trigger is, the sign shining a flashlight. And it's like, hey, we need to look over here. You know what sometimes we do? We knock that flashlight down. We want to fight the flashlight. You know, the person that said the thing, the person that triggered us. Why you triggered me? And sometimes people don't know. There are people who know and there are people who don't know. But instead of attacking the person, let's attack the trigger. Like, why do I feel like this? When was the first time I feel like this? Like, do an internal investigation. I call it trigger. My coach calls it trigger as an invitation for an investigation. Okay. So just check in with yourself. Don't check them. Check in. All right. And you want to seek wise counsel, because healing doesn't happen in isolation. Sometimes we like to isolate. I want to be by myself. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't need anybody. And that's not true, because if we were meant to be by ourselves, we would be about ourselves on this earth, and we're not. So healing happens in connection and community. It does. And you can't do it by yourself. So another one, how to fully heal, use the triggers as beacons. Number 2, seek counsel, because healing doesn't happen in isolation. Number 3, keep going back, because healing is a process. It's not a one-time event. It's not a one-time event. Healing is a process, because I'm telling you, there's so many different areas that you're going to find that you're not healed in. And here's how you know you're not healed. You're triggered. So when the trigger appears, that means the wound is ready to heal. And you can put patches on it, right? You keep putting patches on it. Eventually, it's going to break down. Eventually, it's going to be a leak. So there's the primary healing and there's the secondary healing. So the primary healing, let me run that back. Primary healing is the initial wound, the act that caused the pain. And then you have the secondary healing from our responses to the wound and how it shaped our identity and trust and decisions. So the secondary wound is, I don't trust people. I'm done relationships. I'm done. You know, that's when you get into that verbiage, that mindset, right? You get, this is how I am, this is the way I am, and that's it. That's there's residue. When you start talking like that, when you start moving like that, it's because the residue is still there. There's the primary healing, there's the secondary healing, okay? And then keep going back. That's the thing. We got to keep going back. And a lot of times when it's painful and it hurts, we don't want to go back. But that's how you heal. You gotta be able to touch it and embrace it and release it. We can't change what happened, but we can change the way we look at it, right? So healing is a process, not a one-time event. You gotta keep going back to that thing until it's clear. All right. So heal the mind, and that's how you heal the mind, the body, and the soul. And it's a holistic healing is necessary for true transformation, right? And a lot of times we can go to therapy, we can go to counseling. I also believe in Jesus and therapy, right? Okay, so here's some scriptures to help you with that. All right. So there's Romans 8:28. And we know that all things work together for the good of them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose, using your triggers as beacons. So this is just to confirm how using your triggers as beacons, you can reveal the purpose when surrendered to God. Okay. Proverbs 11:14. You want to seek wise counsel. Where no counsel is, the people fail, but in a multitude of counselors, there's safety. So seeking counsel, wise counsel, is essential for healing and growth. All right. And then Luke 17:15-19. Keep going back. True healing is a complete restoration, not just relief. Okay. So verse 15. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, he turned back with a loud voice and glorified God. Okay. Verse 16. And he fell on his face at his feet, giving him thanks. And he was a Samaritan. Verse 17. And Jesus answering said, we're not we're not we're not 10 clean, we're not 10 cleansed. We're not, no, excuse me, were there not 10 cleansed, but where are the 9? Okay. Verse 18. There is not found that return to give glory. There is not found that return to give glory to God. Save this stranger. All right. Verse 19. And he said unto him, arise, go thy way, and thy faith has made thee whole. Okay. So we want to make sure that we get our healing, so we don't walk around with the residue. We don't walk around wounded. We don't walk around bleeding on other people because we have not done our healing. And when you're triggered, it's because they're healing. There's still healing that needs to happen. And I'm not going to say you're going to be completely healed of your triggers, but once you are aware of them, you're able to go and address them instead of want to fight other people, want to go back with other people about something that has not been healed and completely in you, right? So we got to be able to understand that there's primary and secondary healing. And a lot of us are walking around with the residue of the pain, the thing that somebody done. And we may not even be aware that we're walking around with that. And you can tell by what's coming out of the heart, what's coming out of the mouth, because out of the mouth, the heart speaks. And you know when you're triggered, you know when certain things trigger you. Maybe if you're not able to address them right away, just start journaling. You know what? This happened today, and this person said this, and I was triggered. And then journal about how that made you feel. When was the first time you ever felt that? Like, let's do an investigation, because a trigger is an invitation for an investigation. Okay. Don't just heal what happened, heal your response to what happened. All right. Now you must heal as a result, because a lot of times we don't trust people. And the result is because somebody has hurt us in the past. And so now we view everybody as that person. We get into a relationship, and we get into a new relationship, but we're treating that person as a person from the old relationship. How many of us have done that? I know I have. Okay. So that's why it's important and it's imperative for us to heal. We'll continue to settle because of how we view the thing that happened. We continue to settle based on how we view ourselves. A lot of times when we experience heartbreak and heartache, we don't view ourselves the same. You know what? Nobody don't love me. I should be by myself, and everybody lie. Everybody, we start putting everybody in that category of the person who hurt us, right? And it's not fair. So, and you think about the woman with the issue of blood. She spent so much money going to all of those doctors, and it was not hurting. I mean, it was not helping. It did not help her. As soon as she touched the hem of his garment, she was healed. So and a lot of us get into relationships we get into new relationships trying to heal what happened in the last relationship. Okay, a lot of us do that now. We may not think we're doing that. We may not realize we're doing that. We get into this relationship, and you're like, okay, so I want this person to do this. I want this person to act like this. I want this person to dress like this. I want this person to talk like this. I want this person to be like this. Oh no, they ain't gonna do that around me. They ain't gonna. And it's like, why are you cannot fix or train anybody, right? You love people how they are, and leave them where they are, right? And we don't give up. We don't give up on people. We give them up to God. So maybe that's not the person for you, right? Because the person for you ain't got to do all that with. You don't have to do all of that fixing. And this is not a repair shop. You're not a repair woman. You're not a repair man. Okay. So, yeah, this was so helpful because, I wasn't even aware of the primary and the secondary healing. Had no idea that. Understanding the primary and secondary healing from the initial wound. Okay. So primary healing is healing from the initial wound, the act that caused the pain. The secondary healing is healing from our response to the wound and how it shaped our identity, because pain will reshape your identity. It will, because it had me going into, look, I didn't trust people. I did not trust them to save my life, but I was in a relationship with them. Make it make sense, right? And I didn't realize that I had residue. I went into all my relationships with the residue of the last relationship, and I went into it in a deficit. I ain't trust them like that. When they was however they was doing me, I did them. Like what? Because there's primary healing, there's secondary healing. Okay. And at any time that you're triggered, it's because there's healing that still needs to happen. And we're not completely healed. This information will help you get the healing that you need. Like be able to address that instead of attacking the person. Because a lot of people are just attacking people. And then even the person, they didn't do that to you. They may have triggered you, yeah. But you're responsible for your healing. Nevertheless, you're responsible for your healing. And how do you know you need healing? You're triggered, you're trapped, you're trained. Okay, you're triggered. Unresolved pain resurfaces in new situations. Okay, you're trapped. You keep repeating the same patterns. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And the change starts with us. We can't change nobody else. That ain't our job, right? And the next one is you're trained. Okay, you've adapted to a survival mechanism that keep you stuck. This is the way it is. This is the way it's going to be. I'm just going to do me, right? How to fully heal. You want to use the triggers as beacons. Instead of avoiding them, let them show you where healing is needed. All the trigger is doing is shining a light on that wound. Okay? You've been putting band-aids on something that needs surgery. It does not work. Okay? Believe me, I know. I did that until. So whenever I'm triggered, y'all, and I still get triggered. I've been in the work. I've been doing the work. Nevertheless, I still get triggered. And when I get triggered, I ain't about to go to war with nobody. I check in with myself. I say, you know what? Why I feel like that? It's either fight, flight, or freeze. Okay. Either I want to fight somebody, them, okay, or I'm froze. I'm like, I ain't saying nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing. Or flight. You running away. I gotta go, I gotta get out of here. I can't be around these people. I can't do that. Like you're gonna do either one of those things whenever you're triggered, all right? So don't run from them. Investigate. A trigger is an invitation for an investigation. It's like a check engine light. If you keep riding around with that check engine light, eventually your car gonna be broke down. You have to call the tow truck. You're gonna have to call AAA or whoever you call. And then trapped. You keep repeating the same patterns. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And then you adapt the survival mechanism to keep you stuck. Are you tired of being stuck? I got tired of being stuck. I'm so glad that I made an investment in myself, in a coach, and in a therapist to help me. Because you want to seek wise counsel. Sometimes the people around you can't help you. They trigger too. Because sometimes your trigger can be somebody else's trigger. When you get triggered, oh my God, here she go, here they go. Here you can't say nothing to them. They're so sensitive. That can be triggering because you don't know what a person experienced, right? So let's have grace for people who are experiencing things that we may not understand. And if you don't understand it, then that you're not the person to help them. That's it. You know what? I see this is not a good time to have this conversation. We'll revisit this at a later time. That's it. When I notice somebody triggered, I say, well, let me just leave them alone so they can process what they're feeling, what they're going through. That's it. So you want to use those triggers as beacons. You want to seek counsel because healing doesn't happen in isolation. You want to keep going back because healing is a process. It's not a one-time event. And I know that's the part that people don't like because we tend to avoid anything that's uncomfortable. We don't like to have hard conversations. We don't like to be triggered. We don't want to even talk about it. We like to just, run. And you eventually it's going to run out because you're going to keep running back to you. You're going to always be with you. Okay. So why not heal? Why not understand these things to help us be the best we can be so we can be in thriving relationships? Because a lot of times it's not them, it's us. We don't know it's us. That's why we got to do this investigation. That's why we got to heal the primary healing and the secondary healing, because pain leaves a residue. Trauma leaves a residue. The things we experience in life leaves a residue, and we got to clean that up. Because if not, we can make other people sick. Most importantly, ourselves. That's why it's important. Beyond the wound. Okay, this topic is beyond the wound, healing the hurt and the response. You can tell somebody is hurt or is hurting by their response. You be like, well, it ain't that deep, it ain't that. And maybe it is for them. Because that thing triggered them. And when the wound is ready to heal, the trigger appears. All it is time for healing. And then once you're able to recognize this in yourself, you're able to recognize this in other people. I know when people are triggered, I'm like, oh, they're triggered. Okay, let me just get in their space. And I don't just keep going. Oh, you mad now? You big? No, I don't keep doing that. That's like picking somebody's sore. I don't want nobody to do that to me, so I don't do that to anybody else. Now, if they want to have a conversation, I'm safe enough and well enough to have that conversation. If I'm not, I don't. Simple as that. That's all. I wanted to share this with y'all because I've never heard it explained in this magnitude. Healing the hurt and the response. Understanding the primary and secondary healing and why secondary healing is crucial. Because a lot of us get the primary healing, but we don't get the secondary healing. We don't even know there's a secondary healing needed or required. And then the biblical illustration of the woman with the issue of blood. The primary healing, she tried to fix that, but the secondary healing, she needed something more, right? And she went to him instant. She's 12 years. A lot of us walking around 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Just surviving, right? Just literally just surviving. We're here to thrive, not just survive. So if you're easily triggered, if you're constantly triggered, it's time to check in and maybe seek support because you can't do it by yourself. You may not even know you're triggered, but now you're aware. Now you're able to, okay, let me see what's going on. What just happened right there? What just happened right there? And we do an investigation and we make sure we seek wise counsel and we keep going back. So now when I'm triggered, I don't attack people. I attack the trigger. What is this about? What happened here? Let me uncover this. Maybe I need to reach out to somebody. Maybe I can't do it by myself, and that's okay too. I seek somebody who has experience in that area. The most equipped person to help you is the person that experienced that. The reason I can talk about that is because I experienced this stuff. I know what it looks like because that was me. I was coaching somebody and got triggered because that person reminded me of my father. And I was like, oh. And I was asking them questions. I forgot who that was just for that second. For that one moment, they was my father. And I was like, well, how you going, what if that was your daughter? And he was like, what? And I'm not, listen. And my little girl needed answers. I had to take a pause. Then I had to apologize because I was triggered. And my trigger was on a what? No, let me check in. I got to clean that up because I can't help nobody if I ain't first help myself. I can't be good for nobody else if I ain't good for me. So I got to make sure that I am good consistently. So when it comes up, I'm able to address that. You know what? This is not your father. This is not that moment. You're safe. You're safe. It's okay. That thing happened. And it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to you. All of your feelings are valid. We get to move forward different now. We get to respond differently now. This is not the same situation because the trigger thinks that you're in that same situation again. That's why you're triggered. The brain doesn't know. So we have to rewire it, per se. We have to tell it, you're safe. This is not the same situation. It's reminding you of that. But we get to go back in and tell a different story. We get to go back in and look at that story in a different way. We can't change the story. We can look at it differently. So that's all. Thirsty. I'm getting over a cold, if you can tell. Yeah. So today's a really good day. Oh, this week was rough, but today is a really, really good day. Happy February 1st. Happy February 1st. So grateful and thankful to still be here. Continued prayers for the victims of the two plane crashes. One a couple of days ago and one I think recently. So it's two in 1 week, and it's just Lord have mercy. We're just praying for this world, praying for this country as a whole in the times that we're in. And I just pray that February is so much better than January. January has been tough and trying. And I just pray that it continues. It gets better. I believe that it's going to get better. I like to reframe that. I believe it's going to get better. It has no other choice but to. I believe that. I'm complete. I wish I could see y'all comments. I wish I could see y'all comments. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. Oh, I see some now on YouTube. Okay. Society, just like that. Yeah, society doesn't really society doesn't really promote therapy, right? And I think that it should, because we need it. We so need therapy. We can't do this by ourselves, because if we could, we would, right? It's good to talk to somebody. I love talking to people because it helps me. And I love hearing other people share, because sometimes their stories, their message, their experience can help you with yours. So definitely, I highly promote therapy. I highly promote coaching. I highly promote talking to someone that can help you. Okay? Because we can't be our best self by ourselves. We cannot do this alone. We're not meant to do it alone. We're meant here to, help each other out. Getting better once it, yeah. Definitely. We got to talk about this stuff. We got to talk. We got to keep talking about it. We got to keep sharing it. Like we share all the toxic, dysfunctional information. Let's share the good stuff too. Like stuff like this, we should be sharing the stuff. We should be talking about it. Should be bringing awareness to this. Healing matters. It does. Because when we get better, our world around us gets better. It all starts with us. It all starts with us. Now, I see the comments for YouTube, but I don't see the comments for, let me see if I can go to, I don't know. I ain't figured it out. I don't mind telling y'all what I'm doing. I don't mind. Oh, I do know this right here, though. Here's my QR code. I have a digital content creator masterclass I am going to have on February 15th. And if you're someone who's interested in technology, if you want to grow your brand, want to grow your channel, want to know how to do YouTube banners, it's going to be like it's going to be like a toddler can understand. It's going to be very basic, very easy, very simple, because this stuff is so simple, but you got to be able to, at least want to learn how to do it. And this is you. You have access to a group community and access to myself for 90 days. I will walk you through the process. I can coach you one-on-one as well if you need that. But there's the QR code for that if you're interested in that. I learned how to do that. So I do know how to do a couple things on here. Not a lot, but hey. What else? I think that is all I have. Yeah. That's it. I'm complete. I hope y'all have an amazing day, whatever time it is in your world. Happy February 1st. I hope it's amazing. And yeah, I'm complete. Until the next time, have a good day, y'all. Stay